Hello and welcome to another powerful Genuine Healing Group SFT tapping event. Today's event is Purging the World of Radicalized Conservatism. Make no mistake, we are dealing with a very heady topic. We are dealing with the religious right and various other conservative coalitions. This is going to be an important event for all of humanity. I'm Marvin Schneider.
And I'm Jen Ward.
All right, we probably should not talk about it too much more. We should probably get into the tapping. I suspect there's going to be a whole demographic that are not aware of the work that you're doing, Jen. So for those that are new to Genuine Healing and new to the work that you're doing, can you please explain mechanically what is going to happen here?
So I'm going to give everyone here an affirmation, something to say. You're going to say it 3 times. We'll tap in the top of your head. A 4th time will tap in the middle of your chest, and a 5th time will tap in your abdomen. And what that is doing is it's accessing your higher empowerment in synergy with these truths so that you can be a part of the solution instead of being used as a weapon to attack other humans. So it's really dissipating a lot of the ugliness we see in the world.
So I had put out a call to action and a challenge out there, even for those that identify themselves as conservatives and possibly part of the religious right, the evangelicals of that spectrum. Do these taps and just see what it does for you. All right, so there's a challenge for you.
All psychic streams of energy that advance evil are dissipated in all moments. This is me dissipating their energy. May slow us down a little bit, but that needs to be done every once in a while. All conservatives that weaponize their passion awake to the stupor of their betrayal in all moments. All those who weaponize their faith are rebuked as enemies of their Messiah in all moments. All illusion is stripped off the opportunists advancing conservative coalitions in all moments. All conservative zealots unclench their grip on the womb in all moments. All invoking of a Messiah for egregious intent is thwarted in all moments. All desecration of a Messiah's message is vehemently met with the sword of truth in all moments. Truth purges ignorance from the collective in all moments. The disenfranchised are thwarted from collecting into conservative coalitions in all moments. All fear-mongering and hate spewing is extracted out of the collective in all moments. All conservative zealots are prevented from wearing the garb of their Messiah in all moments. Invoking the Messiah is stripped from the resume of the corrupt in all moments. All conservative zealots are taunted by the hypocrisy of their own reflection in all moments. The first cause is eliminated in invoking faith to grift others in all moments. Conservative coalitions are bleached out of the fabric of life in all moments. Individual empowerment is stitched back into the fabric of life in all moments. So that for the next tap, the vibration of the harsh terms I'm using is invoking a certain vibratory rate that is necessary to match the egregious issue. So it's not gratuitous, right? Individual sovereignty is prevented from getting fucked up the ass by conservative coalitions in all moments. All ass wiping between heads of church and heads of state is thwarted in all moments.
Can we just pause there for a second, Jen? Do you remember when we were watching a news interview? Actually, it was an interview, and it was on a conservative news channel. So just take it with a grain of salt. But the interview was with a fundamentalist religious right evangelical figurehead, and his primary proposition was that God created government, therefore God needs to be at the center of all of the governing systems. And I nearly had a puke because the so for number one, it's their distorted and twisted version of God. There's nothing wrong with source. Source is a universal truth. It is the source of universal empowerment. But when you put a weaponized, twisted, hate-filled version of God in the center of the governing system, then we've got a problem. And there is no room for that kind of nonsense.
Absolutely. And the fact that they can be so blatant in their pursuit of power is insulting to humanity. And that's why we're so passionate about doing this work. Sovereignty releases being dicked around by religious factions in all moments. When you hear these statements and they feel good, just to hear them out loud, that in itself is truth being pierced into this consciousness. So enjoy it when it's good to hear this. Sacred scripture is thwarted from beating believers into submission in all moments. The mask of the Messiah is removed from the twisted grimace of the power mongers in all moments.
Jen, the reason why I'm kind of laughing in the background as I'm doing that tab is that a whole bunch of radicalized conservatists basically demonize being woke. And the thing is that if you actually Google what they mean by woke, it is so convoluted that they don't even understand what they mean by woke, and yet they're demonizing the woke. And I've got to think that the only reason why they're so afraid of people awakening to the underlying truth is that in the empowerment that comes from that, those that are trying to maintain their conservatism for their own benefit, they lose their power and grip on those that are awakened. It's just it's an interesting phenomena why the conservative right is so afraid of people awakening to their own empowerment.
Well, this work we're doing right now is the evidence. This work that we're doing now, that we've been working lifetimes to be strong enough to do, is what they're afraid of. This is waking people up, and it scares them shitless because they're rendered ineffective. Good point. Siphoning off one's own energy through God-sized lies is thwarted in all moments. Okay, so now pay attention to this one. It's referring right to the Bible when Jesus drove out these insane energies from people and drove them into the pigs, and then they died. That was called the exorcism of the legion. So what we're doing right now is connecting to the Jesus energy, folding time and space, taking all the craziness of the corrupt and adding it to that intention that Jesus started. All of the corrupt are immediately driven down the embankment in the exorcism of the legion in all moments. I know these sounds can be like uncomfortable, but they're actually in real-time energy moving these issues.